everyone. It's lovely to be here on another Facebook Live information session. I love doing these because it's just, so much fun. I get to say hi and talk about the trips that are coming up. Yeah, really, there's nothing else like it. I love getting your input. I love seeing that you're here. So if you are watching the live or even if you're watching the replay, please give the video a thumbs up, a like, put a little hello comment in the comments. I would love to know where you're watching from, if you've been on a Pip and Co travel trip before, if you've been to Vietnam before. I'd love to know all these things. So yes, thank you so much for joining me for the Northern Vietnam Highlights trip information session. I'm just going to run through the kind of key headline points about this trip, and then I'm going to delve into some of the highlights, the inclusions, run through the transport and the accommodation, and then I will be answering questions as I go. Pop them in the comments and I will get to them as we go through the info session. So the trip, the Northern Vietnam Highlights trip, ran this year in April, and it was, fantastic trip, running again next April 2027. It's a 9-day trip from the 16th of April to the 24th of April next year. So it begins in Hanoi in the north, the capital of Vietnam. And I'm just going to copy and paste the trip itinerary, a web page here so that you can take a look. Oh, hi Anne, how are you? Oh, it's lovely to see you. Anne is booked into a trip this year, which is super exciting. So yeah, lovely to have you here, Anne. Thank you. So 16th to 24th of April, 9 days, perfect time of year to be traveling in that part of Vietnam. It's the end of high season. The weather is clear, warm, dry, and yeah, really lovely. It's not too hot in the north yet, and in the center it's warm, bordering on hot, but not at peak heat yet either. So yeah, it's a really good time to go. If you haven't had a look at the webpage, you'll see that I've got some of the details of the trip in terms of the fitness levels, all those kind of things. You can see some great photos of the trip as well. This trip will be fully escorted from the very beginning of the trip to the very end by a fabulous local guide. We've got 2 great women guides to choose from, one called Ha and one called Fung. So we will let you know who will be hosting the trip. Both amazing, very knowledgeable, great to travel with, and lots of fun. So you have 2 options when you're booking. There's the twin share option, which for this trip's 2,950, and a solo room option, which is 3,970. So that's an extra $950 to have your own room. Some women, when they book trips, they opt to go twin share, and then I can see if I can find someone, over the months leading up to the trip to twin share with them, and it's worked quite a few times. So if you're open to doing that, that is another perfectly great option for you. It saves the $950. If you don't have someone to travel with, but you're happy to share with someone, yeah, that's a really great option. So keep that in mind as well. Oh, there's some other people here. Oh, Lois, hi. Hi, Lois has been on quite a few trips and she is also booked in for one this year too, as is Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Tracy will be doing her first trip later in the year as well. So that is very exciting. It's lovely to have you here. So some of the highlights, I mean, this trip goes to some of the, the best places in Vietnam, starting in Hanoi, which is the capital city. There's so much history and culture and little streets and little old quarters to explore. Traveling out to Ha Long Bay, where you'll have the chance to go on a cruise, a small cruiser. I think from memory, I think our cruiser had about 16 cabins. So like a double decker with a rooftop. There's some photos that you can find on the website and on Instagram as well. Yeah, pretty nice with a balcony and a hot tub and a cocktail bar on the top of the cruise, and the landscapes in Lanhar Bay are just amazing. The limestone karst mountains coming out of the water. So Lanhar Bay is, the slightly less visited bay in the Halong Bay area. It's still very busy. There are still lots of boats, but once you're on the boat and you're kind of cruising, it's a really beautiful experience. So yes, that's something to look forward to. And then back to Hanoi to take a domestic flight down to Hue, which is the old imperial city capital of Vietnam from many centuries ago. Some beautiful history, old citadel, tombs to explore in Hue. One of the highlights I know that a lot of the women on the April trip really loved was exploring Hue on the back of a scooter, a motorbike, with very capable, strong, expert drivers. And yeah, it was just an amazing day to have the drivers with us and exploring all the highlights of Hue, including one of my personal highlights was going to a temple, a women's I'm going to say, well, they're monks, they're women, they're female monks, Buddhist monks, and we got served the most delicious vegetarian banquet lunch you could imagine. It's not a tourist experience at all. It's, within their living quarters, and it was just, yeah, a really great experience, and something that you can't possibly imagine having without the connections, I think. Yeah, so that's something to look forward to in Hue as well. Um, Also, beautiful hotel in Hue, a very old historic. It used to be a pharmacy, and it's been converted into this hotel, and it's right in the center of all the history. So yeah, that's a beautiful place to look forward to staying as well. Then the final destination, which is a highlight for a lot of people too, is Hoi An. So in the center of Vietnam, a very famous UNESCO World Heritage listed old town in Hoi An. It is gorgeous. It is walkable. There is so much to see and do. The boutiques, the cafes, the river, the beach is there too. It really is an amazing place to visit and to spend some time there. So you have the option to go on a cycling trip in Hoi An as well. And for the non-cyclists, you can enjoy the same route and the same experiences, but on the back of a scooter, on the back of a motorbike. So that was another highlight for many of the people who went on the trip in April. So that is a very brief kind of snapshot of the rundown of the days. Oh, Sue's here. Hi, Sue. Hi, Sue O'Brien. And Sue came to Sri Lanka in March, so it's great to have you here, Sue. Hi, Michelle. If we opted to add an extra night, would you be happy to suggest finding a driver to pick up from the airport? Yes, Michelle. So that's a great question. Airport transfers are included. So even if you arrive the day before or 2 days before, or you decide to extend your stay by a day or two at the end, your transfers at both ends are included. So yes, you don't need to worry about that. All I need to get is your flight times and flight numbers and that kind of details, and your transfers will be organised. Likewise, if you do want me to book in any additional hotel nights before or after the trip, that is something you can do on the booking page as well. So let me just make sure that that is on there. Yes, the night in Hanoi before the tour starts is $145, and the night in Hoi An after is $110. So you can just add that to your invoice when you're sorting out your booking. So yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. Um, Talking about bookings, it's a $500 deposit to get your spot saved and get your name on the list, and you need to pay that within around a week of registering. Then the balance of the trip is due 90 days before the trip departure. So for this trip, um, it will be due, let me just work backwards, about the middle of June, middle of January, I should say. If, of course, you would like a payment plan, that is perfectly fine too, and we can set something up to suit your payment needs. So the other few things I wanted to run through was obviously the food. The food is a huge highlight of a trip to Vietnam, and it definitely does not disappoint. Um, you'll have the chance to taste some different specialities from the different regions. So in the north, the first night of the trip, you'll have the chance to go to this beautiful chaka restaurant, which is a grilled fish, and that's their specialty. That's all they serve. And it's cooked at the table, and it is absolutely delicious. I have got some videos and photos up on Instagram and Facebook of that night. So, yeah, if you are interested, let me know. I can hunt them out, or you can have a look and find them. So yeah, that's beautiful food to look forward to. If you want to as well, there is an option to add in a cooking class in Hoi An. That is really a really fun activity, because it's hands-on. You get to go to the market, you get to learn about the food and the herbs, the spices, the fruit and veggies, and then of course you get to eat it at the end, which is super nice. Um, there are some other specialities which you'll get to try in Hue, the central city. Hue has a very famous spicy beef noodle soup. It's not super spicy, but it does have more spice than, say, the pho, the noodle soup that you will have throughout Vietnam. So yeah, that is another one to look out for when you are there. Of course, all the coffee, the tea, the smoothies, the juices, the drink options are amazing. Beer, wine, cocktails. It's all, yeah, super, super lovely. So as I was talking about food, I would also like to talk about what's included from a food perspective. So 8 nights accommodation, 4-star boutique, locally owned accommodation, hotels, including the one night on the cruise in Lan Ha Bay, plus all your transport, airport transfers, the domestic flight to Hue. So breakfast each day, so 8 breakfasts plus 5 lunches and 3 dinners are also included. So there's a lot of inclusions, which I think is really great. It's important. So I can help you work out what you might need to budget for those extra meals as well. Luckily, Vietnam has really well priced food and drink and snacks, which I think makes it super easy. And what a lot of the feedback I get from the trips from the women who join, not just Vietnam, but other countries as well, they really like that even on the nights where it's a free night, there might not be a meal scheduled for dinner. Generally, 9 times out of 10, the group comes together and the guide will have a fantastic restaurant suggestion up their sleeve, and the group will head out there together. Or in some cases, it might be like, let's just stay at the hotel, have a cocktail by the pool, chill out, order some spring rolls or whatever it might be, and just relax, ready for the next day. So I think that's a real benefit of traveling with us and with the small groups, because having that feedback's really nice, and I think it's really important that that option is there, so you never feel lost or not sure what to do for a meal or not sure where to go. So I think that's really lovely. Anne has said, I'm thinking the Buddhist monk visit the countryside in India. Yes, Mission tour. Yeah, there's a lot packed in here. The indigo tie-dyeing workshop I haven't mentioned yet, but it is run by a local artist in Hoi An. Her name's Tui, and she's really successful. She's had exhibitions in Europe and Australia, and she does a hands-on workshop using the traditional indigo tie-dyeing method, and you get to take home something that you create. And that's in her studio, so it's also nice to go, somewhere that's not a touristy place, and get to meet her as well. So yeah, that's a lovely thing to look forward to. The Mason tour, so that's heading outside of Hoi An, about 45 minutes drive to the Cham Towers. So a very kind of mini, small scale kind of Angkor Wat experience. So it's the same peoples, the same era. And yeah, it's pretty amazing that these Cham Towers, these, construction that was created so many hundreds and hundreds of years ago, are still here and we're able to go and visit and explore them and learn more about that culture and that history. Um, so I have talked about the inclusions. I just wanted to let you know what was not included, which you need to factor into your planning as well, is your international airfares. So I can give you advice and some help with some of your flight research. I can't book flights, but I'm definitely happy to help you in any way I can. Travel insurance, which is compulsory for you to get in advance, which covers you in case of illness or anything like that. Yeah, it's really important and great to have that. Those extra meals that I mentioned and drinks, alcohol is not included. So luckily, if you're a beer drinker, beer is very cheap and cocktails are very well priced. Wine can sometimes be a little bit more expensive, but still a lot cheaper than we're used to here. Australian passport holders do need a visa to visit Vietnam. It is $25 and you need to apply for that online before you go. So I will be sending out reminders in the lead up to the trip, just to, be checking in and giving some information, but also just making sure your visa is sorted. Also, before the trip, another thing which I always do, which I think is really great, is around a month or so out from the trip departing, I will host a Zoom catch up. So everyone who's booked on the trip has a chance to meet each other. We can go through any last minute questions, packing advice, checking on visas, travel insurance, all those kind of things. Yeah, and it's a really nice way to check in and meet. You get to meet each other as well. And then generally in the week before the trip, I set up a WhatsApp group so that everyone can stay in touch. It's really helpful, obviously, for the guide too. So the guide's connected with the group. They can send reminders about your airport transfers and if there's any delays with your flights, obviously that can be used through there too. But throughout the trip, it's great to have that, and also after the trip. So yeah, it's a really nice way to keep in touch too. So I have sped through, as I always do. I just wanted to say one more thing too, that the trip begins in Hanoi and ends in Hoi An. So your departure airport will be Da Nang. So when you're looking at flights, you can look at a direct flight option sometimes from Australian cities to Hanoi. Not all cities have a direct flight. So you may need to look at a stopover in Ho Chi Minh City, or you might fly one of the Asian airlines like Cathay Pacific, Malaysian, Singapore, Thai. They all have really great connections to Hanoi and to Da Nang. So like I said before, I can help you with that kind of research. And yes, very happy to help you. Weather-wise, it'll be mid to high 20s in Hanoi and Lan Ha Bay, and then high 20s to low 30s in Hue and Hoi An, with some humidity as well. But generally, there shouldn't be any rain during that time. Lois, for travel insurance, don't forget to insure for motorbike rides. Yes, it's a good point. It's definitely worth reading that. My insurance and many insurances cover if you are the pillion passenger of someone driving with a license. So obviously all the riders we will be going with have a license. And you have to wear a helmet, which is compulsory as well. Um, if you need any help with that, let me know. But yes, you generally are covered, but it is always worth, with all insurance, checking the fine details and seeing what actually is the go. Um, does anyone have any questions before I wrap up? I'm very happy to answer any questions at all. I also am very happy to chat on the phone with you one on one about the trip. I am heading to Vietnam on Wednesday, so my head is full of Vietnam right now. I'm very excited. Hosting the first family trip in Hoi An starting on Sunday, next Sunday. So yes, look out. There'll be some photos and videos coming your way on socials about that. And could I check in, Penny, in regards to Sri Lanka in November? Sure thing, Anne. Happy to chat. You can we can have a chat on the phone, or we can chat by email, whatever suits you. That is great. Would love to chat to you about Sri Lanka. Sue says Sri Lanka is an amazing book. Yes, I know. It's such a great trip. We had a great time, and yeah, Anne is booked in, which is fantastic. So she has got a great trip to look forward to in November. Um, so I have popped the booking link in, and like I said, if you would, and when I get back, sure I'm away for a long time because I'm also hosting the Saigon short trip in July, the 4-night trip. You might have seen that advertised. And then I'm going to Indonesia and hosting the Indonesia tour in starting on the 5th. So I'm not home until the 16th of August. Um, so yeah, if I'm happy to wait till then, but if you would like to speak to me, I'm sure we can find some time while I'm away as well. So you let me know, because it is a long time, isn't it? I think I'm away almost 7 weeks. It's probably one of my longest trips for a while, that's for sure. Um, Amazing. Oh, it's been very lovely. And thank you so much to everyone who has given up their Sunday late afternoon to be here. I really appreciate it. And it's so nice to see past and future travelers on here. Um, Sue says your poor husband and mum. Well, Sue, actually, husband and children are coming on this trip. So not poor them. Um, so yes, so the kids will be with me and husband will be with me for 5.5 weeks of that time, which is exciting. And then yeah, just for the Indonesia bit at the end, they come home and I stay and do that. Um, so yeah, it's going to be a very different experience this time. Um, so yeah, it'd be nice to have them and nice to share the travel joy and travel bug with them a little bit more. Especially my youngest, who it will be her first time overseas, so she's super excited. She got her passport. um, Amazing. I look forward to chatting with you all further, answering your questions. And I will just pop the booking time in for a call if you would like to do that. I'll pop it in the chat as well. Um, Even if you can't find a time that suits, you can drop me a message, because I'm going to be traveling. Things are a bit up in the air, but I will find time to talk to you all for sure. I super appreciate it, and please let me know if I can help in any way, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.